Hello and welcome to Anfield Voices episode 5. The topics have sort of gone out of the window now. I'm more just ranting about our team at the moment. It's been a tough few weeks, hasn't it? Let's be honest. And it only appears to be getting tougher. I'm recording this on the Thursday, the day after we got beat by Palace in the Carabao Cup 3-0. But let's go back to the weekend and talk about the Brentford loss. We lost it 3-2. It was a hard watch. Brentford have a pretty obvious style of football, I would argue. You know, they're big lads. They attempt to win the second ball if they can. They kick the ball long to try and keep the ball in the air as much as they can and break. They love a long throw. They love corners, set pieces. Arne Slot said that they'd spent multiple hours in the week trying to defend against long throws and set pieces. Yeah, I think it was either their first or second long throw of the game where they scored their first goal. I watched an analysis after the game where someone was saying Man United did the same thing and so did Brentford, so did Palace, where they would basically allow us to win the first ball. So they would kick a long ball over the midfield. Konate and Verge are so good at winning the aerial duels that they just go, okay, we'll sort of show you that we're trying, but we'll let you win it. You'll head it into the centre of the midfield where we will have an extra man than you because we always play 1+ defending. So we always hope that we have 2 defenders on 1 striker. But what that means is we have less in the midfield. So that's where they win their second ball. And then they hope that we have a player out of position, someone who's maybe won an aerial duel, which means that the striker's on his own, and that's how they then get in behind. And it happens nearly every game at the moment. Arne Slot has said that teams have figured out a way of playing against us and we haven't come up with an answer yet. But I don't really see what he's trying to do differently. The formation is the same, the players are the same. What is it that Arne Slot is doing that's actually making any difference to the tactic we now know that they all use? I don't see it. Frustratingly, I can't see how he's going to change it unless he changes it drastically. I'd quite like to see a really strong defence, a proper number 6, whether that be Gravenberch or Endo, but an actual player who's going to stay in the number 6 role, not sort of be a number 8, because I think the defence needs that cover and it helps winning the second balls. I wouldn't mind seeing Robertson at left back, Gomez at right back, just really shore it up, because I think our attack are good enough to score no matter which way or formation you play them. I think our attack is that good that they will score and create chances. So conceding is the problem. So give the defence help. The amount of times, if you watch back through all the goals of these games that we've been losing, the amount of times it is just 2 centre-backs trying to run back and catch up with the ball that's gone through the middle of them is absolutely frightening. And another option would be to maybe go to a back 3. Now, I was going to do a video on how I thought missing out on Gahey was massive, because I actually am now starting to think that his plan all along was to go to a back 3, but he hasn't had 3 centre-backs that he's comfortable using yet. I wonder if Leone hadn't been injured, maybe we would have seen it already. He actually played a back 3 last night in the Carabao Cup game, which worked for a little while, but obviously they were players who, most of them aren't centre-backs. He had Endo, Gomez and Robertson as centre-backs, and Endo and Robertson technically aren't centre-backs. So I wondered if you'd have had Konate, Virgil van Dijk, Guehi, who plays in a back three, would that work? That would then mean you would never have the ball through the middle because you're covering more space with the back three. And it would also make the Frimpong and Kirkes transfers make a lot more sense, because Frimpong and Kirkes, the whole idea is that they're more like wing backs than they are left back or right back. So if you had a back three, they would actually be able to do the job we bought them for. You could then keep the midfield three of McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai that did so well for us last season. And then either have Wirtz and Isaac, Wirtz and Ekitike, or you could drop, say, McAllister, because his form's not been great, and then have Wirtz and Isaac and Ekitike in like a three, with Wirtz being the number 10. I know you'll go, yeah, but then we don't have Salah, we don't have Gakpo, but we need to think of life without Salah soon, and I think that time's coming sooner rather than later. I mean, in AFCON, he won't be here anyway, but I think he'll either go this summer or his game time is going to get less and less and less and less. And is that why we bought these players? They're not thinking of this season. They're thinking of the seasons without Salah. And a back three without Salah works, in my opinion. It's a drastic change, don't get me wrong. But I think it could work. And it's interesting. I was thinking this a couple of weeks ago, and it's interesting to see that he tried a back three against Palace. He basically tried to match them up. He did a 3-4-3. But once Palace had realised what we were doing, they managed to drag the younger players around, creating space. They might not have been able to do that with the more senior players who would know what they're trying to do. But it'll be interesting to see if we see that formation more. I do think he wants to buy another senior centre-back, though, unless he plays Gomez. Resting all of our players against Palace is a huge risk. Huge risk. And it'll only be judged properly by me after the Villa game. Because in my opinion, he's basically gone, we don't normally play a strong team in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup anyway. I'm going to give all the players a rest, a proper training, only focused on Villa. They don't need to worry about focusing on Crystal Palace again. That gives them a full week of training and rest to then face Villa at home and get a win. If we then don't win against Villa, all of a sudden, the midweek game is horrendous, and the pressure on Slot will be even more. If you win against Villa, all of a sudden you go, you know what? It makes sense that he rested all of the senior players against Palace in the Carabao Cup, which is a cup really we're not that bothered by. We've now got our first win in the Prem out of 4 or whatever it is. The next game is then at home again against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Well, I'd love to go in that with a bit of, we've just beaten Villa, we've just won a game, let's go and take them on. The game after that is Man City away. If we could say we've got a win against Villa, a win or a draw against Real Madrid, and then you go to Man City, all of a sudden there's a bit more confidence in the team, there's a bit more confidence in the fans. I would then say, who cares about the Carabao Cup game? What he did was perfect. If we lose to Villa, and then probably Real Madrid, and then Man City after that Carabao Cup game, well, it could be an interesting international break, couldn't it? The board have come out and said that they believe in Slot. I still believe in Slot. I'd like to just say that. I truly think Slot is a good enough coach to get us through this patch. But if I don't see any change in the team in the next 3 games, I will start to change my mind that either he's lost the players or maybe he is a little bit out of his depth. But at the moment, I still believe he is the right man for the job. And it is more a matter of when he will get these players working together as a team and not making these silly mistakes. They obviously look like they lack confidence. I think Frimpong was going to be a huge part of his plans, and unfortunately the injuries just not landed well. Every time he's come on when he's been fit, I've gone, oh, you know what, Frimpong's done quite well, or he looked quite good there, or he did that well. And then he seems to get a start and he just gets an injury. And it looks like, I'm sure it was said today that he might be out for another 6 weeks, which is a crazy amount of time. Alisson did a picture saying that he's now playing on grass, which is great, but I doubt he'll be in for the Villa game. Maybe they're trying to get him ready for the Real Madrid. I don't know. Slot said in his press conference that Gravenberch is training now, so there's a good chance he'll be ready for the Villa game. And he didn't really mention Isaac. He sort of went, oh, we'll have to wait and see on the others. So I wonder if Isaac and Alisson are going to be more like Madrid or Man City game, but Gravenberch should be back for the Villa game. What I would say, though, is I thought Endo was very good against Palace, and I wouldn't mind seeing him as a number 6 at all. It's just so... I don't want to use the word depressing because that seems really deep, but it is so disappointing and sad, isn't it, when your team's just not winning? And I don't think us as fans are used to it. I went to the Man United game. That's the first time I've ever seen Liverpool lose at Anfield. And I mean, I've been going sparingly, but I have been going to Anfield for years and years and years and years. And I've probably been to, I don't know, 50-odd, 60-odd matches maybe. And that's the first time I've ever seen them lose. And it was horrible. So I don't want it to continue. On TikTok, so many fans now are saying they want Slot out. I think that's too early. I don't think the club agree with it. But my main question, I suppose, would be, who do you replace him with? Even if you wanted him gone, which I don't, but even if you did, who would you replace him with? So many people are saying, oh, bring Klopp back. There's no chance. If you actually listen to the interview where he said it was a possibility, his actual words were, well, yes, it's possible, but I didn't enjoy this, I didn't enjoy this, I didn't enjoy this, I didn't enjoy this. And I'm now in a job that I enjoy where I get paid very well. I get to see my family. I get to see my kids and my grandkids. Like, he isn't going to leave that this soon on from when he left Liverpool. No chance. I've heard a few people say about Iriola from Bournemouth. I wouldn't mind that. But again, it's a big job to come up to. I've heard someone say Zinedine Zidane because, you know, we need someone who's got a bit of passion and who's a bit fierce. Again, I wouldn't mind that, but he's only done it at one club, at Real Madrid. I don't think he's done it anywhere else, has he? Did he go to PSG maybe? I can't remember. But again, you know, are you just jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire? When people say that Slot only won the Premier League with Klopp's team, I don't buy it, because the tactics he used were so different. And Klopp couldn't win the league with that team. With that team, he just scraped Champions League. Slot won it. And easily, to be honest. He won it well. So I don't buy that as an excuse. You don't win the Premier League off luck. He's obviously a good coach. Obviously. I just think he's having a bit of a hard time of it. The players look like they've lost confidence, and he's trying to find a way of getting his best players in a team that will win games. I do wonder if Salah needs to be dropped. He's now tried to play him right wing, but because of his tactics change, he's not getting anywhere near as much of the ball. So he's now tried playing him up front. It doesn't work. He's too greedy at the moment, and he's not running back. He's not pressing. Like, a high line only works as well as you're pressing up front, and the pressing isn't working, so the high line doesn't work. Like, they need to close the gap between the goalie and the back line if they're not going to press. There's just so many issues, and I think he's trying to put fires out all over the place, and he's struggling a little bit. I mean, I said this was going to be a rant, and I think I've sort of ranted about everything. We really need some good news on the injuries in his press conference tomorrow, and we need a huge win against Villa. I don't mean any win will do either. He needs to win against Villa, more than a 1-goal deficit. Try not to let in any silly goals, and a good, convincing team display. If we don't see that, he's going to get ripped apart by the fans. It's going to be tough. It really is. Press conference tomorrow. I'll do my usual TikTok video. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to do my podcasts because it's getting pretty dark in my van now. Have a lovely day. Thank you for listening. Please comment. Please subscribe if you don't already. Come on, you Reds.